The Mercedes SL sports car has been around since the 1950s, but it's the fourth generation model launched in 1989 that's on Paul's radar. With powerful engines, a luxurious interior and a host of cutting-edge gadgets, the SL was an expensive car to buy new. But these days, they're the price of a second-hand hatchback, and Paul reckons now is the time to buy. Musician and retired horse trainer Carl Burgess is also a passionate Mercedes collector whose hobby has turned into a second career.
Once you have a piece of engineering from one of these cars in your hand, you realise what it took to get to that stage, and that's just one of 5,000 parts. It just blows your mind, really. I built up a parts business to keep my own cars going and obviously selling them on. So I've become a bit of a sort of specialist by default, really.
Carl, nice to meet you.
And you?
I think I'm definitely in the right place.
You are.
Walking through the door at Carl's place and greeting me is just a wonderful selection of 80s and 90s Mercs. Really nice stuff as well.
But Paul's here to see a very specific car.
There you go. Carl and I have pulled back the covers and I could not have asked for it to be in a better spec. I like the colour combination as well.
It's purest. This is how the car first came out.
It's an early 500 SL, so they're big, full-fat V8, 4-speed automatic, blue interior, and the best bit is it's the two-tone silver grey. That's the car. Just such a nice-looking thing.
Carl's asking just £6,000 for this 1989 SL, but it's a complex car, so there's lots for Paul to check.
Well, that sounds very happy. Now press a load of buttons and see what works. The first thing you do when you check an old SL is make sure every switch correlates to a function and that function works, because if it doesn't, I guarantee it'll be expensive to fix. So that's a good sign. So the roll bar works, the roof works, so the hydraulic pump's obviously all right. If all of that works, it's a big sigh of relief because I can just take away loads of work out of the to-do list, and so far this car is good.
SLs came with a hardtop for use in the winter, and although Carl has one, it's seen better days.
Oh, a little bit of trim to do, isn't there? Just gone a bit there, and we might need a headliner. Need to re-stick that all back together. The little bits of trim will need to go back in. There's a bit of bubbling in the corner where they always used to go. None of this puts me off, but all of this makes me want to buy it cheaper.
But before Paul thinks about doing a deal, he needs to hit the road.
Back in a bit. It just drives so well. The steering's good, wafts through the gears, there's so much torque in that engine. So what I really want to do is give myself room to tidy the car up, do the hard top, spend 1,500 quid on it. I've then got a car that I can make maybe even £3,000 profit on. The key is not letting Mr. Pritchard go mad. This is a car we need to just tidy and flip and make some money.
And Paul can give himself even more room for profit if he can haggle Carl down from his £6,000 asking price.
Well, you took your time.
I know, it's such a nice car to drive. There's much to love, mate, I have to say. There's an awful lot to love. The engine, the gearbox, the suspension, all perfect.
Good.
But a little bit to do, as you know. I would love to pay £5,000, if that's possible.
I bet you would. No, 5 wouldn't do.
I just need to have that bit of wiggle room that should I get back and the worst should happen and just got a bit of love left in it.
So, yeah, that's why it's 6.
Well, you'd like 6. I would love to get 5. So shall we say 5.5, meet in the middle? And I'll be out your hair. You'll never see me again.
Yeah. Cheers. That's a good deal, yeah.
Well, come and write me up then. Come on, let's have a brew and we'll do some paperwork.
Back at the workshop, it's time for Paul to fess up.
Hello, mate.
Hey.
Oh, there's no need for that.
Shut them bad boys out.
I've put my sunglasses back on. That's a bit of glare. I'm actually quite glad you've got a bit of a summery look today.
Why?
Because I've been out and I may have bought something.
You haven't bought a car on your own, have you?
I have. Wait there.
Oh, R129.
It's cool, isn't it?
That is good. Did somebody take you out shopping?
I did this all by myself.
No.
I did. Really nice, very early one. I think the best colour combination and the two-tone, which I think is the coolest as well.
Oh, yeah. Very underrated.
I think so. And very, very cheap at the moment. I paid £5.5 for that.
Get out of town. Has it been to the moon?
No. And it really drives rather well.
When he told me he'd bought a V8, I thought, oh, no. It's some American disaster of a car, because he loves all that stuff. So I was very pleasantly surprised. Design-wise, the car does have that typical Mercedes elegance, but they're a bit brutish as well. And they do build a cracking V8, and that's the combination you've got there. An incredibly usable car that will literally last forever. I mean, I'm tempted, to be honest, chuck a bucket of water over it, whack £1,000 on it, and put it back up for sale.
There you go. Now we're talking. This was the whole point of this flip, basically. It was a cheap and easy car. So the roof needs a really good clean, probably a bit of re-dyeing, actually.
You can just polish money into that, to be honest.
You can. It's a nice car, solid but tatty, and it's all there.
All in all, boy's done good there. He has done well. He's bought a really good car. The hood and the interior just need a really good clean, couple of small repairs. Chuck a bucket of water over it, polish it to death, get it out the door.